It's Guy from Innotech Partners here. I'm here with Sam from Halcyan Water Conditioners, and this is episode number 7. Sam, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Samantha. I'm the CEO for the posh title, or dog's body, depending which way you look at it, of Halcyan Limited. We are a small business based in Bristol, specialising in water conditioners, the most sustainable water conditioner in the UK. And my background, my background we'll probably come to.
Yes, we will actually. And what are you trying to do? What's the overall intent behind the Halcyan Water Conditioner?
So we came from my background is in environment, which is why this product is so important. We obviously, as a business, we want to sell units and we want to make profit and create jobs and make a nice healthy business. But actually, the mission behind the business, behind what we do, is to help save carbon. Our product is incredibly good at helping save carbon in an area that frankly nobody's talking about. So we're about getting awareness raised about the fact this is an extraordinary opportunity. That's really why we're in it. Okay, so the product itself, can you give us an overview of what you actually provide? Yes, we provide what looks like a very simple piece of pipe. Elegant, some might say, but simple piece of pipe. But what it does is extraordinarily clever. Inside, what it's doing is basically taking the minerals in hard water, and it's temporarily altering them just enough so that they behave the way we want to. And our main task in this is to prevent limescale, which is a grotty, horrible little subject that nobody wants to talk about. We're desperately on a mission to try and make limescale sexy, but I fear we might be on a bit of a loser there. But fundamentally, what we're trying to do is to get limescale out of people's systems, whether that's domestic or commercial, and to keep systems working properly. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Because most of us will see limescale in our kettle, or it might appear in our, I don't know, washing machine over time. Is there anywhere else kind of strange that we wouldn't expect to see it, that you found it? Yeah, so absolutely. Most people limescale is like, oh my God, it's a cleaning issue. And that's fair enough. You know, it is a horror. But actually the statistic, which I think is critical here, and which again is the thing we're trying to raise awareness of, is that for every single millimetre of limescale on any heating element, anywhere, inside your boiler, immersion heater, whatever, it's adding an extra 7 to 10% to its energy consumption every single time you're flicking that switch and turning the hot water on. And if you multiply that up by, you know, that we've got over 60% of the UK is supplied with hard water, that works out about 17 million homes. That's a huge amount of wasted carbon, wasted energy for the householder and the business owner, and wasted carbon for the planet. Sounds like a bit of a hidden problem, man. Certainly when you said raising awareness, I thought, well, actually, we all see limescale, we all see hard water. Most of us will know the difference between soft and hard water, I imagine. But how will we know whether we're in a soft or hard water zone? Because that's when this product will really come into its own. Absolutely. Okay, so hard water is defined. If you look on any sort of listing, you're going to be looking at something over 200 parts per million or above when you're looking at sort of reports and so on. There's a couple of ways. First of all, those people in hard water areas obviously often react with a, oh God, yes, reaction, because they see it, because they experience, because they're using large amounts of Calgon or whatever the proprietary cleaner is that they're using. The other way of doing it, actually, if you're not sure, is to go into your water company's website, pop onto the consumer end, and there's a page in there that will say water quality. And you pop your postcode in, and it will give you an average of what your water quality is like. And in there will be the whole water hardness. So that'll give you, if you're not sure, if you're a bit borderline, that'll give you a clear steer as to whether you should be interested or not. Fine. So we've seen the kind of impact that this could have for customers. So what kind of return on investment do customers typically see? Okay, so we're looking at 2 types of saving here. Yeah. We're looking, if we put aside the cleaning for a moment, and that's your time, we don't include time, we're looking at saving energy, like your operational energy, the energy you actually see on your bills, and we can save significant amounts of that. Around 40% of your energy is used in producing hot water every day if you're a domestic household. So we can save a decent chunk of that. But we're also looking at saving your washing machine and your boiler and making them last for longer. So we've got what we call embodied carbon savings in there as well. And when we put those two together and we span it out over the 30 years that this product will last, at least 30 years, when we span it, we're looking around about £500 a year in savings between those two. So
significantly impacting the cost of living crisis we're about to go into from the cost of gas and oil that's been passed on to us. Absolutely.
And so we have a certain sense of haste and anxiety that people hear about this, because actually it's in a really easy win, and it's not out there.
It's exceptionally relevant in the current times. So I'm hoping people see this and can make note.
You did ask about an ROI, and I think we worked some figures out a few years ago and worked out a family of four is looking at about 2.5 year payback overall. But I think we should need to revise those figures, because I think it's come down a hell of a lot. I think we're closer to 1.5 years now.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing that. I mean, yeah, no, I get it. And you said a family of four there. Is that your sweet spot? Do you have a kind of perfect customer for this solution? Who does it benefit the most?
Okay, well, I'm not sure anyone has a perfect customer, bless them, but we do have some people who we can particularly help. So yes, you've got in essential, your family makeup doesn't matter, but domestic households in hard water areas for sure. And frankly, anyone with over 200 parts per million, you're going to be helping and saving in a domestic setting. I think when we look more commercially, it's a little bit more diverse. So companies, things like food manufacturers and so on, who are using a lot of hot water in production, they're wasting vast amounts of energy if they're not treating that water effectively. People, I think, which we're talking to quite a bit at the moment, are like the social housing landlords. So housing associations, local authorities, got a lot of stock. We've got a lot of conversation at the moment going on about domestic retrofit and trying to find easier ways to reduce the carbon there. Those sorts of things where we can actually help the tenant. You know, these tenants by and large aren't on high incomes.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
Really that end of the market where our cost savings for the user can have a more higher impact, and then the landlord is obviously benefiting as well. So those are kind of sweet spots.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of kind of Green Deal carbon retrofits. We're seeing so much more done post build, and it's quite. It's interesting to hear that tenants might pick this up, because I imagine the cost to install this is quite expensive, but I'm sure you can correct me. What are we expecting here?
Okay, so the cost of the unit itself is not cheap initially to buy. So if you're buying it from the website, it's 770 quid, but actually it works out at £2 a month, roughly.
Okay.
So £2 a month. So when you start doing your household figures, that's what you're looking at. And then with your installation, it's super easy. We're looking at an hour and a half if your plumbing's a bit complicated, because it is a beautifully simple fit.
And that's quite the interesting thing here is it must be a clever piece of kit. And so we talk about technology quite a lot. Sustainable technology is my thing. And that's the people we see on this podcast talk about technologies. And this is another physical product, a physical technology that we've advanced to kind of reduce our output and improve sustainability. So the fact that it can be fitted and installed in less than an hour and has quite a reasonable price point, that's exciting. And I hope that other people are captured by that. And so go back to your company. How do you see this market evolving over the next few years?
Okay, so ours is quite an old market. The water market and water treatment market is not particularly new, but it's very stuck in its ways. And at the moment, it's still talking about dealing with limescale by and large as a cleaning issue, as a maintenance issue in commercial. I'm hoping we lead the charge, but I'm hoping that actually as an industry, we pick up the whole carbon and energy discussion and really start driving it forward, because although obviously we're competitors, actually the marketplace is enormous because so few people, so few companies are actually treating their water. There is plenty of space for all of us, but clearly we're the most sustainable solution. We'd like to be right at the front, but we need the industry to be moving and pressing forward with the message of save energy. Come on, guys, fit something, save energy.
I mean, even more crude than this, and it's kind of a sad fact to sustainability, but this is also saving money. Because saving the world, as I've seen time and time again, isn't enough. People need to be financially benefited to make these decisions, and you see that more and more. But in this particular instance, we are saving quite large sums in a cost of living crisis. So Fantastic. And what are your plans for Halcyon over the next few years? Do you have any more products in the pipeline? Are you going to do anything more exciting? What's the next steps?
The product is quite simple, bless it, and we are looking to do a bit more research into it to see if we can enhance its performance, particularly on the carbon saving front. But we have a full suite of products for commercial and domestic settings. And looking at the moment for us is about getting greater market share, being the sustainable thought leader and the sustainable product of choice. We're looking to expand further into manufacturing, so OEM, a little bit of export. We're hoping to dip our toe in the next year or so into export and then take that bigger, because we are not the only country with hard water, and so yeah, so that will be good, and actually a lot of policy shift. We're hoping that as a business we can help really direct that. So growth is for us. I mean,
I can hear the growth. The growth is coming.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for us as a company, and a huge opportunity for the planet. It's really nice to bring those two together.
I like it. The bit that's going to get me is you've made it seem very beautifully simple. It seems like it's easy. What roadblocks do your customers face in getting this product installed? Have you got all the stock you need? Have you been hit by the manufacturing crisis? How easy is it to find someone to install it? What's the challenges we face?
So we've adapted a bit. So the supply chain and the delivery has taken a bit of a hit. It's become a little bit more difficult, but it's not something that we can't manage, and it's not something that has to impinge on the customers. We just have to be a bit more organised, basically. Where our customers, I think, meet the biggest blockage is often with the traditional approach of their installers, their plumbers. And so we've got quite a piece of work, and we often offer to talk to their installers, because there's a lot of products out on the market that look quite similar. Are they inline bits of pipe, but they either work differently or deliver quite different results, and they're designed for quite different settings. And so a lot of our piece there for barriers for our certainly our domestic customers is going to be the installers, reassuring them, talking them through the product, getting them to understand why it's important and basically how easy it is to fit. Nice thing is, once we do have those conversations, we often convert them, and we're now currently just building up a trade scheme of people who've fitted it, liked it, seen the results, and gone, okay, all right, we can run with this. So
good. I like that. Now, as a business, it sounds like you've got lots of growth plans. You've just talked us through where you intend to be. We are not the only country with hard water. When you make hires, what's your key driving decisions? Why do you choose to hire people? What's your biggest challenge you face?
Okay, so at the beginning stage of that, it's the cash flow to make sure I've got the runway. I don't like employing people without knowing I've got their salary in the bank for 6 months. I think that's a mean thing, even with sales and so on. You've got to have it there. But actually, when we're hiring, I'm quite long in the tooth now. I've done this for a few years, and I've learned that I hire on attitude. I want to have people in the business who link up with the way we work, where we're going, and actually we've got some good examples in the business now where we brought people in who've got really good attitude, really like where we're going, and we've upskilled them. And so for me, that's very much where we go with this. We stick to that. So we're looking for the type of people, the can-do attitude, that sort of thing.
Sounds like we hire on feel, and that's pretty much how most hiring decisions are made in this modern era. If someone's qualified for the job, it comes down to exactly how they feel and the attitude they put in, and it's nice to see that you can recognise that in your own hiring process. Staffing is a massive part of businesses and growing. You grow on the strength of your people. What's your best advice to people coming up from the next startup, the next person? What's your bit of advice to them?
In a sense, don't overstretch yourself, because you want to grow people. You need to get people in. I think one of the things I've learned, and one of the mistakes I've made actually, is hiring too slowly. I thought that I could do a lot of it myself and it would be more economical for a small business, and actually it's a bit of a bum approach. You really need to start getting them in, but to think laterally about how you can do it. You don't always have to take on a full-time person every time. It might be a part-time role. It might be that you work on and off in a consultancy and then morph them into something else. But I think you also, as a small business, again, coming back a little bit to attitude, you do need to hire people who are prepared to get their hands dirty, who are prepared to work outside perhaps their normal remit, who are prepared to kind of muck in with whether it's the traditional envelope stuffing, which probably doesn't happen very much anymore, but that sense that they will step outside, that they're keen learners, because as a small business, you are almost inevitably going to chuck a load of stuff at them that doesn't really come under the job description. You've got to have people that relish that want that sort of environment.
It's very typical that a small business doesn't have job descriptions. I remember when I was 1 to 10, I had no job description. I don't even know what job description is. Personally, as an employee, I've never had a job description. Now my role is massive and vast. And I think with my HR manager, we went through and wrote everyone's job descriptions about a year ago. So we're up to close to 60 staff, and we only just got job descriptions. So when you're in that startup and scale mentality, it is very much just get done what needs to get done. And I can hear that and see that. Do you have any advice to small businesses about culture and talent strategy? So how have you found your people, and how do you get them to buy into your culture?
So I've searched for them in green places, because our fundamentals, green spots, green sources, because our fundamentals that's where we come from, and that's the sort of people I want to work with. I'm very much not the best at this. I'm very not. I know people other entrepreneurs who I know who are very good at induction processes, and I admire them from afar and try and steal as many of their ideas. I think that's actually another tip for a startup, which is, trust me, somebody somewhere's already done it better. Go and borrow. But I think for me, around the culture, it is about, again, hiring on attitude, bringing them in from the right place, having a solid probationary period. And I think knowing that you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time in those first few weeks to bedding them in as a person, into the job, but also spending that time with them as the founder, so that they really do get a flavour of what you're about. And then actually being able to let people go who don't chime. And that's not a bad thing. That's an okay thing. If they are a round peg in a square hole, they're going to be super uncomfortable. You're going to be super uncomfortable. Don't extend that. Don't make them feel that way. That's not kind to either. So I think it's about investing that time at the front end and being honest about who you are. I mean, I think my staff would say I'm very straightforward. I'm very out there. I say what I think, and I think in a small business you don't have a lot of choice, because you're going to be exposed very quickly anyway.
You can tell that, because I can hear that you're shooting from the hip. It's all raw passion as a business owner. This is your product, your business, your culture. It all comes across. You kind of touched on there on the fail hard, fail fast, fail often mentality, which is, if it's wrong, get it done. It's over. We tried it. We gave it a go. Don't prolong it. And as I embody that, it's always give someone a chance, give the business a chance, float something, but don't be afraid to cut things off. So I admire that. We're gonna kind of go back to kind of you, I think, actually, because that's more important, Sam. I think you're the important person here. You're the driver behind Halcyan. So how long have you been in sustainable technologies?
Depending on how you measure that. I've been in this business, Halcyan 2015, previous business linked to that 2012, but actually my background goes back to childhood, when I did a lot of charity sort of stuff like you do. But then my career has on and off dipped in and out of environment, and one phase for about 15 years I was a major donor fundraiser. And all of my organisations were environmental or education. So I've been working in sustainable projects, sustainability, for 30 years, on and off. So a bit long in the tooth, but But this is actually a really interesting culmination of a lot of different jobs and backgrounds come together in this, which is very satisfying, actually, very satisfying.
And it impacts everyday life. There's very few products that will touch the lives of millions of people. We all use Google, for instance. We all drink water, and that's some of us will drink more water than we use Google. So how this impacts our homes and our lives is unilateral. I'm gonna get it to the fun bit. This is the exciting bit. This is where we actually discover who Samantha is. So I'm going to fire you some quick questions, and then that is the answers, right? Okay. Best bit of software you can't do without.
Okay, I live in Outlook. I must look like Outlook, frankly, at this point. But my favourite app is BrainToss, which means that I can actually capture all those random ideas that disappear through my head at a rate of knots and not use them.
Wicked. BrainToss. I've been given that one for ADHD. I like it. Best piece of tech you've ever bought?
Okay, oh, see, I'm so indecisive. Either my Apple Watch, which I adore, or actually my AfterShokz headphones, which are awesome, bone conducting. Can't live without them. It's a rare time that you see me not wearing them.
Get up and work in the morning or at night?
Both, but I work well when it's quiet, when basically I haven't got the phones on. So I'm very happy in the morning, but I prefer mornings. If I've got a choice, I prefer mornings.
Yeah, I start every day at 5 and I'm in the office by 7:30. So I'm definitely a morning person. So I can empathise with that. Motto that you live by?
Okay. I'm quite keen on quite a bit. I'm a stoic by choice. So there's quite a lot of stoic quotes out there. I think mine culminated is be grateful. Live in a place of gratitude. It's a good place to start. It's a healthy place to start. I like the concept of aiming high but keeping it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And I suppose, buck stops with me. At the end of the day, there's no point blaming or moaning about other things. At the end of the day, it's my decisions that make my life. So buck stops with me.
Accountability, I like it. We found it. How do you stay focused?
Desperation, need, sense of urgency, growing older, all of the
I'm not hearing the desperation. I'm hearing the passion, which I'm sure people confuse, but I can hear all of that. Microsoft or Apple?
Apple every time.
Oh, but you use Outlook. Well, it's conflicted. Best thing about working in a sustainable technology company?
Okay, so lots of people use sustainable tech to mean software, and a lot of it is. Mine's hard tech. Mine's a widget, and I love the fact that it is practical. It's hands-on. I love the fact that it's something which lasts forever, and it delivers really high-quality results. Having a product that delivers, the whole Ron seal does what it says on the tin. I love that simplicity and I love that delivery. So for me, working in that sort of that tech is nice. Sustainable, well, that's just like. That runs through the core of who I am. So put those two things together and we're there.
The thing that annoys you the most about working in a tech company?
Yeah, I find that quite a tricky one. I think if I'm honest, it's a little bit more than that. It's I think the difficulty is securing investment. For us at the moment, I think our biggest bugbear, I don't actually have a lot. Lots of stuff in business is irritating. Lots of stuff doesn't go the way you want. That's being in business, get on with it. But I think the one for me is about the investment piece in the UK, the investment piece in SMEs, the UK approach to investment, and particularly in this arena when there are so many good products out there, so many good ideas that just need that support. So for me, the bugbear is around the investment, the finance, that lack of foresight.
Yeah, the government talks a good game about wanting to invest and wanting to improve sustainability across the UK, but I am also yet to see tangible money up for things like this. But we are in a pandemic. We make it out the other end. Maybe we'll see. So good luck to the government. The top thing that's currently on your bucket list. What's your next big achievement?
Achievement? Well, my next thing on my bucket list is simply a 2-week holiday without my laptop with my husband, because I haven't had one of those in an awfully long time, as have not a lot of people, but being a business owner. Achievement, actually for my business, I will know that we are really hitting the mark when we get a Queen's Award for export.
Okay.
Because to get there, we will have delivered on so many other fronts.
That is a very tangible, very concise bucket list. I wish you all the best in achieving that. Sam, I've learned a lot, actually. I did a look on your website. I kind of understood. I thought I had a good idea, but in seeing and hearing how it can benefit me as a consumer, I'm sure that plenty of people are going to see this and think, didn't know that existed. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for raising some awareness, and we'll get this sent out there. But have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's been great fun, actually. Thank you.
No worries.